So, we've reached the big two-part finale of Series 12. Time to begin. Now, according to all the marketing material and all the stuff behind the scenes, they said that with the two-part finale of Series 12, that fans, after seeing it, would need a stiff drink. Well, I don't know if I'm in need of a stiff drink just yet, but yeah, I can see it on the way. Now, Ascension of the Cybermen is essentially split into two separate storylines. Now, the storylines at the moment don't interconnect, they don't link together. But they might in part 2, The Timeless Children. But we'll see when that comes around. So let's look at both of the stories. Now, the first story, which doesn't interlink with our main characters, is set in Ireland and shows a young baby named Brendan. He is seemingly found on the road by an Irishman and taken home. Now, the local policeman says that they'll do all they can to find the child's parents, or whoever left the children there, but until they do so, the baby can stay with the man and his wife. He is eventually adopted by the parents, given the name of Brendan, and he grows up into a nice young man, who eventually joins the guard. And while trying to stop a burglar atop a cliff, is seemingly shot and falls off the cliff, but miraculously survives, with not a scratch on him. He eventually goes through his life, goes through his career, and eventually is able to retire and is given a clock. But as he is leaving the police station, he is seemingly stopped by two men, resembling a younger version of his superior and a young version of his father, who state they need him to come through to the back and that they need to start again, but that he won't remember it, before he is seemingly electrocuted in the back office. Now, I had two theories about how this was going to go. One is that he would eventually become the lone Cyberman that we see in the last episode of The Haunting of Villa Diodati. But then as the story went on, I began to think, oh, hang on, this might be something to do with the Timeless Children. I mean, it's possible. I mean, I actually like that theory a little bit better, given that by the end he is faced by two men who are younger versions of men he knew. So I feel that one fits in a little bit better, but we'll see how that story pans out. Now, the other story focuses on our main gang. Now, the Doctor, Graham, Ryan, and Yaz, they end up at some point in the future during the I think it's either during or just after the Cyber Wars, where the last of a human settlement is fighting back against the Cybermen. And, of course, leading the charge of the Cybermen is the lone Cyberman that we saw in the last episode, The Haunting of Villa Diodati. To which, while his version is, of course, kind of a half human face showing, and it's mostly similar to the 2013 design, he also has two cronies with him who are the 2006 design, which I have to admit is always my favourite. But eventually, with the settlement decimated, they're forced to flee, and the Doctor actually gets quite violent and aggressive towards her companions, actually telling them to go. I won't lose anyone else to the Cybermen. And even when they say no, we're prepared to stay behind with you and fight them, she's like, no, you're not. You're gonna get to safety. To which, while Yaz and Graham do manage to get onto the spaceship and with a group off to safety, Ryan gets left behind and has to run with the Doctor and a settlement survivor named Ethan. Now, aboard the spaceship, Yaz and Graham, along with the remaining survivors, they come across a larger ship, which, with their own ship fairly low on power, they think, oh, we can use this new one to get where we need to go. But there's a problem, in that they discover the ship they're on is a cyber ship, and not only a cyber ship, it contains cyber warriors, literally seemingly dozens of Cybermen just in sleep and waiting to wake up. And what's more, the lone Cyberman and his two cronies, they are now on the ship and waking up the Cyber army. So that's going to be a problem. To which the new design of the Cybermen, or the ones we see in the on board the ship, I actually do quite like. It's kind of like a mixture of the 2013 redesign we got of the Cybermen and the one that was seen in the late 60s and early 70s, with stories like the invasion and revenge of the Cybermen, which is actually pretty cool. But then we come down to the big events and what will ultimately tie us into part two, in that the group is all heading to something called Koshamas, to which the Doctor, Ethan, and Ryan soon discover when they get there that Koshamas isn't actually a place or a planet, it's actually a person. And Koshamas says that he guards something called the Boundary, and the Boundary is something that the survivors can go through to get away from the Cybermen and they'll be safe. However, when they get to the Boundary and it opens up for the Doctor, she sees Gallifrey, the decimated ruins of Gallifrey, which she's already pretty confused about. And then you've got, suddenly appears through the Boundary, Sacha Dhawan's master. And he tells her that, he told her before that everything she thought she knew was a lie, and that everything now is about to change. Well, as I said, I'm not in need of a stiff drink yet. I have a feeling I might be by the end of this. But, yeah, I mean, for a setup, this is pretty good. I mean, I don't think I feel the same level of terror as I did with the last Cybermen two-part story, World Enough and Time. I mean, I could see the big reveal of that story coming from a mile off, but still, when it happened, I was still a bit cold, a bit shocked. I mean, with the reveal here of Sacha Dhawan's master at the end of it, fans were seemingly able to work it out. When they released the cast list for the series finale, there was apparently a name on there that didn't exist. People looked it up, and seemingly there was a man on the list with seemingly no acting credits who, when you looked him up, didn't even bring anything up. However, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was, I think, something Bastami, but apparently a few people, even Stephen Moffat, were able to work out that if you rearranged the letters of it, it spelled out "Master is back." So yeah, Sacha Dhawan's master. Yeah, we hadn't seen him since Spyfall, and with him giving the Doctor those breadcrumbs earlier in the series, it seems fair enough that he comes back for the two-part finale. But this one, yeah, it has me slightly on edge. I'm interested to see where the Cybermen go, and interested to see where Brendan fits in, how this all fits together, and what exactly are the Timeless Children? Why have they got the Doctor so terrified? So, yeah, we're into the two-part finale, and we'll have to see if the Timeless Children pays up. Until then, onwards, dear friends.